Guys, we are lucky to have Precious Miura here, and she's been at the Diddy parties, and she's about to...
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
What if we told you that behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood's most exclusive parties lies a tangled web of shocking secrets, whispered rumors, and hidden footage? It sounds like the plot of a suspense thriller, doesn't it? But this isn't a movie, this is real life. Or so Daniel Baldwin claims. Recently, the 64-year-old brother of Alec Baldwin made jaw-dropping revelations during his appearance on the PBD podcast. The details are more dramatic than a soap opera's wildest plot twists. Brace yourself, because this story dives into secret parties, hidden cameras, and allegations that could send shockwaves rippling through the entertainment industry.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Let's take a look at him. Let's take a look at, he has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now.
According to Baldwin, Sean Diddy Combs' infamous parties weren't just typical celebrity gatherings. Sure, they were packed with Hollywood A-listers and enough designer fashion to rival a museum exhibit, but beneath the surface of these glamorous events, something far darker might have been unfolding. Baldwin claims Diddy's parties had two sides: the dazzling, Instagram-worthy soirees filled with laughter, music, and star power, and then the secretive, after-hours version that most people never saw. Behind closed doors, Baldwin suggests, things took a turn, whether fascinating or disturbing, depending on your perspective.
To not be involved with a famous singer, to not come out, here's the price. And that they're just selling to the individuals that are in those. This is what I heard. They're selling those videos. So if you're Tommy X, and Tommy X is a big, big movie star, and he was at some of the Diddy parties, he was in one of those bedrooms with 3 other men, and he's happily married to a woman, and blah. Tommy doesn't want that video to come out. He does not want it to come out.
Baldwin alleges that Diddy had cameras secretly placed throughout his private gatherings, recording every moment. He has videos of the parties, Baldwin revealed during a recent podcast appearance. According to him, the existence of these tapes has sparked a bidding war, a battle not for ownership, but for discretion. Baldwin claims the footage features some of Hollywood's most recognizable faces in compromising situations. Stakes: if you don't want your name or image tied to these alleged tapes, you'd better pay up. They're driving the price up, Baldwin added, explaining that agents and attorneys are scrambling to protect their high-profile clients. Actors, musicians, and icons alike, from public exposure. It's a scandal straight out of a spy novel, only this time the players are the stars we know and love.
Same thing for Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the interesting thing about the Epstein and the theory about Epstein is we know he filmed people, for sure, on that island. He has a lot of movies, a lot of films of people that are very, very powerful political figures, and entertainers, business people. So, do you really believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? Of
course not.
Of course not.
Yeah.
It's important to note that Baldwin himself admitted he has never seen the alleged tapes. I don't like to say things I know unless I see it, he clarified. But that hasn't stopped the rumors from gaining traction. Hollywood, after all, thrives on whispers and speculation, and Baldwin's claims have only poured fuel on a fire that has been smoldering for years. National Geographic researchers captured a $1.5 million advertising campaign in 2013. Stories about Diddy's infamous parties have circulated for decades, with insiders hinting at wild antics, a shroud of secrecy, and their exclusive nature. However, Baldwin's allegations elevate these rumors to a whole new level. If his claims are true, these parties weren't just about indulgence. They were meticulously documented, and now the existence of this footage could be leveraged in ways that might send shockwaves through the entertainment industry.
Did you ever spend time with the guy? Did you ever meet Diddy?
I've met him before, yeah.
How was he?
Very nice guy, very smart, super business. You know, I mean, he's very successful.
Baldwin's comments have sparked comparisons to infamous scandals where powerful men allegedly used leverage to control others, even likening these tapes to the rumored recordings Jeffrey Epstein supposedly employed to manipulate his high profitable network. Baldwin claimed Diddy has all that footage, supposedly, hinting that as time unfolds, the truth could emerge. If these tapes exist, a significant if, they could implicate some of Hollywood's most cherished figures. The fallout would be catastrophic, not just for the individuals involved, but for the entire entertainment industry, potentially shaking its foundations and altering its image in ways never seen before.
So I'll tell you, I don't know how much, I don't like to say things that I know unless I see it. That there's a little difference, but was it discussed? Was there descriptions from people I know that were at those? Yes, but here's another thing. So how many of these big entertainment parties and over the years and everything with as successful as you are, have you been around? Does anyone ever come up to you at a certain hour and say, okay, it's time to go? At those parties they did.
The story takes an even darker turn with the alleged content of these recordings. While Baldwin didn't elaborate on what's on the tapes, other sources suggest they include compromising situations involving male and female celebrities, with testimony from witness Courtney Burgess before a federal grand jury claiming to have seen footage of 8 well-known individuals, 3 of whom were reportedly minors at the time. Burgess alleges she received the tapes from Diddy's late ex-girlfriend Kim Porter, and that they are now in the possession of federal prosecutors, potentially serving as a smoking gun in the allegations against Diddy. Meanwhile, Baldwin's claims of a bidding war for the tapes raise serious ethical concerns. Who is buying them, and why? Are they being purchased to shield reputations or for more sinister reasons? Baldwin implies that millions, possibly billions, are being exchanged to keep certain names out of the spotlight, painting a chilling picture of an industry more invested in hiding its secrets than in pursuing justice.
He had cameras all over the place, unbeknownst to them. And now he has all that footage, supposedly. This is what I'm told. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens if, you're a huge, iconic, TV star or movie star, and you're...
Baldwin shed light on the dynamics of Diddy's parties, describing a split between casual attendees and an exclusive inner circle. There were the faces at the big party, Baldwin explained. And then there was the late-night crowd. He claimed that as the night went on, doors were locked and less prominent guests were politely asked to leave, paving the way for a more private and allegedly more scandalous gathering. Anyone that wasn't super famous or I'm with him was asked to leave, Baldwin noted, adding that he never attended these late-night sessions. This raises the question, who exactly made it into that inner circle? While Baldwin didn't name names, reports suggest Diddy's parties have attracted Hollywood, music and sports stars like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jennifer Lopez. Whether these A-listers joined the after-hours festivities or left with the rest remains unclear, leaving the million-dollar or perhaps billion-dollar question of the alleged bidding war for incriminating tapes even more intriguing.
It's still pretty early in the proceedings. I think it's only been about a month or a month and a half since he's been arraigned and held in detention. And so the investigations are always going to be a continuous and ongoing process. I'm sure at this point there's been an exchange of discovery. And not only that, but I think there's been a gag order placed on the attorneys with information that they can and cannot share. But
what's even more unsettling is the suggestion that some guests may not have known they were being recorded. Reports claim that Diddy's homes were allegedly equipped with hidden cameras, capturing footage without the knowledge or consent of his guests. If true, this would be a massive invasion of privacy and could lead to numerous legal challenges. It also raises questions about the level of trust, or lack thereof, within Hollywood's elite circles. How many other powerful figures might be engaging in similar practices, and how many more secrets are hidden in plain sight? As for Diddy, he has vehemently denied all allegations against him, including the charges of trafficking and conspiracy that led to his detention at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. His legal team has dismissed the claims as baseless, insisting that he is being unfairly targeted. However, with a trial set for May 2025, the clock is ticking, and the world will be watching to see how this story unfolds. Will the tapes come to light? Will any of the alleged buyers step forward? And most importantly, will justice be served?
But like I said, the entertainment industry is very, very, very messed up when it comes to the bigger you get, the more you had to do to get there. And so if you're not willing to put yourself in that position, you kind of
One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. Baldwin's claims have opened Pandora's box, and it's anyone's guess what might come out next. As the rumor mill keeps turning, one can't help but wonder how deep this rabbit hole goes, who else might be implicated, and what other secrets are hidden in the shadows of Hollywood's most exclusive parties. Stay tuned, because the next chapter is sure to be just as explosive as the last.
I don't buy for a minute that he's going to prison without getting out of here somewhere and stashing $2 billion or whatever. I think he has that kind of power, meaning Sean himself. But remember, it goes a lot deeper than that.
Here's where things get even messier. If Daniel Baldwin's claims about a hidden network of tapes are even remotely true, the implications are staggering. We're talking about some of the biggest names in entertainment potentially being tied to a scandal so explosive it could dominate headlines for years. While Baldwin has remained relatively vague about who might be featured on these tapes, whispers are starting to circulate about the identities of the celebrities involved. And these aren't just your average red carpet regulars. These are A-listers, the untouchable icons who dominate headlines, social media, and even our playlists. The real question is, how deep does their involvement go? And more importantly, how much did they really know?
Dawn had the choice to file the case as a Jane Doe, and she chose not to do that. After giving it a fair amount of thought, she wants accountability, she wants justice.
First, let's acknowledge that Sean Diddy Combs wasn't throwing just any parties. These weren't your typical Hollywood gatherings filled with awkward small talk. These were lavish, exclusive, and legendary events. Over the years, Diddy managed to cultivate an image as the ultimate tastemaker, the guy who could throw a bash so iconic that even Leonardo DiCaprio would show up in white linen. Let's not forget his infamous white parties, which became a status symbol in themselves. If you were invited, it meant you had officially made it in the industry. But now, with all these allegations coming to light, those once glamorous events are starting to look much darker. Consider the rumored guest list for some of these gatherings. Names like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, Ashton Kutcher, and even Leonardo DiCaprio have all been linked to Diddy's parties. Now, to be clear, no one is suggesting that these stars were involved in anything shady. In fact, many of them may have left long before things took a questionable turn. However, when you're in a room where the vibe shifts, the drinks are flowing, and cameras are rolling without your knowledge, it's easy to see how someone could get caught up in something they never signed up for.
Everyone keeps saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
Then there are the more specific allegations. One witness reportedly testified before a federal grand jury, claiming to have seen tapes featuring several well-known figures. According to this person, the recordings were handed over by Diddy's ex, Kim Porter, before her passing. If these tapes truly exist, and if they're as incriminating as some suggest, it could explain the alleged bidding war happening right now. If you were a high-profile celebrity with everything to lose, wouldn't you pay anything to keep your name out of this mess? But it gets even more complicated. Some sources claim not everyone on the tapes knew they were being filmed. Reports suggest that Diddy's homes were equipped with hidden cameras, capturing everything without guests' consent. If that's true, it changes everything. It's one thing to attend a wild party. It's another to discover later that your every move was recorded. If those recordings are now being used as leverage, it raises serious questions about manipulation and control within Hollywood's most elite circles.
He is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, it is scary, because you think, this person, or possibly his social network or the people he's around, could make or break your career.
Let's dive into the mindset of the people attending these events. For many, being invited to a Diddy party wasn't just an honor, it was a career move. Diddy had built a reputation as a gatekeeper in the industry, someone who could make or break your career with a single phone call. So when you're a rising star or even an established celebrity trying to stay relevant, turning down an invite might not seem like an option. Once you're there, the pressure to go along with the flow and not make waves can be overwhelming. And that's where things get murky. How many attendees felt trapped, unable to leave even if they wanted to? How many stayed out of fear of offending someone as powerful as Diddy?
Do you think LeBron James is the only one that has an interest in whether his career is destroyed? No, Nike has an interest. No, certain apparel companies have interests. No, many other people that are involved in huge businesses that are part owners of giant conglomerate companies have an interest in that. So Shaquille O'Neal owns most of JCPenney's. But you're talking about companies that if it comes out, so they might be the one that says they'd pay $25 million for.
Now let's shift focus to the rumors surrounding the tapes themselves. According to multiple sources, the alleged recordings don't just feature A-listers. They also capture moments that could be deeply embarrassing or even damaging to their reputations. One insider described the footage as compromising, which is vague enough to stir the imagination. But here's the kicker. Some of the individuals reportedly caught on tape have allegedly expressed concerns about being victimized. And think about that for a moment. If these tapes are as damaging as people claim, those involved aren't just worried about their reputations. They're reliving experiences they'd rather forget.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
This brings us to the broader conspiracy theories that have started to emerge. Some are drawing comparisons between the Diddy tapes and the infamous Epstein case, where recordings were allegedly used as leverage over powerful individuals. The theory here is that these tapes aren't just about blackmail, they're about control. If you have footage of someone in a vulnerable or embarrassing situation, you hold the keys to their reputation. You can influence their decisions, manipulate their actions, and even silence them if necessary. It's a chilling thought, but one that feels all too plausible considering the power dynamics at play in Hollywood.
I don't know this, but it just seems very suspicious when you go through and you look at in the history of different people that can make you go away if you know. Listen, I've worried about some of the things that I talk about on my show.
Of course, not everyone is staying silent. A few celebrities have started distancing themselves from Diddy in light of these allegations. For example, 50 Cent, never one to shy away from speaking his mind, recently stated that he's been avoiding Diddy's parties for years, citing uncomfortable energy connected to them in an interview. Meanwhile, others, like Ashton Kutcher, have been more cryptic, hinting at stories they can't share about their experiences at these events. Then there are people like Ice Cube, who outright denied ever attending one of Diddy's infamous gatherings, making it clear he wants no part in the conversation. When asked why the community created the label Stop the Strike in 2008, he responded, "It's only a form of narcotics." What is the greater evil? Striking out on your own?
I don't know the consequences of what that could have been. So I didn't really talk about it. I should have gone to the police. I should have said something other than to my agent. I'm just thankful that there was somebody there. There was somebody at that party who helped me, because I could have ended up in a really bad situation.
For every celebrity who speaks out, there are dozens more who remain silent, and that silence is deafening. Are they just trying to avoid being dragged into the drama? Or is there more to the story? It's hard to say, but one thing is clear. The longer this scandal drags on, the more people will begin to question who knew what and when. After all, Hollywood is a town built on relationships, and it's not uncommon for people to turn a blind eye to questionable behavior if it means protecting their own interests. And let's not forget the role of the legal system in all of this. With Diddy currently facing serious charges and a trial set for May 2025, the stakes are incredibly high. Veteran investigators have reportedly seized hard drives, flash drives, and other devices during raids on his properties, and there's speculation that these items may contain the very tapes Baldwin and others have mentioned. If that's the case, it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out, whatever that truth may be.
There's been some updates in the Diddy $100 million default judgment that we reported on earlier.
So where does that leave us? On one hand, there's a mountain of rumors, allegations, and unverified claims. On the other, a public that's increasingly hungry for answers. The question now is whether those answers will ever come to light. Will the tapes be released? Will the bidding war Baldwin mentioned come to a conclusion? And if so, who will come out on top? The buyers hoping to bury the footage, or the prosecutors determined to expose the truth? Perhaps what's most fascinating about this entire saga is how it highlights the darker side of fame and power. For years, Diddy was viewed as a symbol of success, someone who transcended the boundaries of hip-hop to become a global icon. But now, with these allegations hanging over him, that carefully crafted image is starting to crumble. And as it does, it's pulling others down with it, whether they deserve it or not.
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named freak-offs.
At the end of the day, this story isn't just about Diddy. It's about the culture of secrecy and manipulation that runs deep within the entertainment industry. It's about the lengths people will go to in order to protect their reputations, careers, and legacies. And it's about the cost of that protection, not just in terms of money, but also in trust, integrity, and ultimately, personal values. So, what do you think? Are these tapes real? If they are, who do you think is on them? And how far would someone go to keep their name out of this scandal? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates as this story continues to unfold. Because trust us, this is just the beginning.